Sooner or later, the fool is led to ask the age-old question, why? The fool becomes absorbed with the search for answers, not from an idle curiosity, but out of a deeply felt need to find out why people live, if only to suffer and die. The Hermit card number 9 represents the need to find deeper truth. The fool begins to look inward, trying to understand his or her own feelings and motivations. The sensual world holds less attraction for the fool, and the fool seeks moments of solitude away from the frantic activity of society. In time, the fool may seek a teacher or guide who can give him advice and direction. After much soul-searching, the fool begins to see how everything connects. The fool has a vision of the world's wondrous design and its intricate patterns and cycles. The Wheel of Fortune card 10 is a symbol of the mysterious universe whose parts work together in harmony. When the fool glimpses the beauty and order of the world, even if only briefly, the fool finds some of the answers he or she is seeking. Sometimes the fool's experiences seem to be the work of fate. A chance encounter or miraculous occurrence begins the process of change. The fool may recognize destiny in the sequence of events that led the fool to this turning point. Having been solitary, the fool feels ready for movement and action again. The fool's perspective is wider, and the fool sees within the grander scheme of a universal plan. The fool's sense of purpose is restored. The fool must now decide what this vision means to him or her personally. The fool looks back over life to trace the cause and effect relationships that have brought him to this point. The fool takes responsibility for his or her past actions so the fool can make amends and ensure a more honest course for the future. The demands of Justice card 11 must be served so that the fool can wipe the slate clean. This is the time of decision for the fool. The fool is making important choices. Will the fool remain true to his or her insights, or will the fool slip back into an easier, more unaware existence that closes off further growth? The fool is not afraid, the fool pushes on. The fool is determined to realize the vision, but the fool finds life is not so easily tamed. Sooner or later, the fool encounters his or her personal cross, an experience that seems too difficult to endure. This overwhelming challenge humbles the fool until the fool has no choice but to give up and let go. At first, the fool feels defeated and lost. The fool believes everything has been sacrificed, but from the depths the fool learns an amazing truth. The fool finds that when you let go of the struggle for control, everything begins to work as it should. By becoming open and vulnerable, the fool discovers the miraculous support of inner self. The fool learns to surrender to his or her experiences, rather than fighting them. The fool feels a surprising joy and begins to flow with life. The fool feels suspended in a timeless moment, free of urgency and pressure. In truth, the fool's world has been turned upside down. The fool is the Hanged Man card number 12, apparently martyred, but actually serene and at peace. The fool now begins to eliminate old habits and tired approaches. The fool cuts out non-essentials because he or she appreciates the basics of life. The fool goes through endings as the fool puts the outgrown aspects of life behind. The fool's process may seem like dying because it is the Death card number 13 of the fool's familiar self to allow for the growth of a new one. At times this inexorable change seems to be crushing the fool, but eventually the fool rises up to discover that death is not a permanent state. It is simply a transition to a new, more fulfilling way of life. Since embracing the hermit, the fool has swung wildly back and forth on an emotional pendulum. Now, the fool realizes the balancing stability of Temperance card number 14. The fool discovers true poise and equilibrium. By experiencing the extremes, the fool has come to appreciate moderation. The fool has combined all aspects of him or herself into a centered whole that glows with health and well-being. How graceful and soft is the angel on card 14. The fool has come a long way in realizing the harmonious life. The fool has great health, peace of mind and a graceful composure. What more could the fool need? On everyday terms, not much, but the fool is courageous and continues to pursue the deepest levels of being. The fool soon comes face to face with the Devil card number 15. The devil is not an evil, sinister figure residing outside of us. The devil is the knot of ignorance and hopelessness lodged within each of us at some level. The seductive attractions of the material bind us so compellingly that we often do not even realize our slavery to them. We live in a limited range of experience, unaware of the glorious world that is our true heritage. The couple on card 15 are chained, but acquiescent. They could so easily free themselves, but they do not even apprehend their bondage. They look like the lovers, but are unaware that their love is circumscribed within a narrow range. The price of this ignorance is an inner core of despair. Thanks so much for watching part 2 of The Fool's Journey. Subscribe if you'd like to see more tarot-related videos.